We are here to install a Gentoo Linux in our system. So Gentoo, let's talk about some Gentoo. Gentoo Linux is a free and open source Linux distribution that focuses on flexibility, choice, and performance optimization. It means you have a choice to choose which kind of uh, which kind of performance you want from your Linux or your operating system. Because Gentoo provides you totally choice to choose your kernel level, to choose which kind of disk partitioning you want to use, which kind of software you want to use. So one of the very prominent feature of Gentoo is it uses a portage management system which allows you to easily download, compile, and install software from its source code. It means there's in other operating systems there's a lot of by default software which come with the installation of operating system. So now you have a choice. You can choose from those by default softwares. So you can choose from those by default softwares. So you have a choice which type of software you want to install during your installation. Okay, let's move to its installation setup. First we have to create a virtual machine for Gentoo. So and assign some hardware specifications according to your own on your system specs. So you can give 128 GB for hard drive. I gave 24 GB for hard drive and 2 GB RAM, and left VMware with the default VMware settings. And the very initial step is that you have to download minimal installation CD ISO image. So you have to download it and assign this to our Gentoo VMware, because we are going to boot from this ISO image and configure our Gentoo. Let's go there. Now my VM is ready, so now we are starting our VM. Yes, boot live CD kernel Gentoo. Now it's boot. It is booting from our ISO image, which is also called live CD image. Okay, here he is asking us for keyboard mapping. So there is a lot of regions, so you can select according to you. I will choose US. Now this is configuration files, and let's move to the format. Move to the format disk, the very first step towards installing Gentoo. Okay, one of the very first step is that we have to format our disk. In the start I assigned 24 GB of hard disk space, so we can utilize it. So very first command is fdisk /dev/sda. So this command will help us to format our disk. So here, okay, now we are in the process of formatting our disk. So when you run this command, it will prompt you M for help. You can type M and see all the commands. Some of the common command is N for create new partition, D for delete partition, T for change partition type, A for activation partition, and after all the settings you can just write W and write and quit. It will save your configurations. Now we have to create 3 partitions, one for bootable, one for swap, and one for our hard disk, simple hard disk. Let's create our first partition. Put P for create primary. You will ask us for size. The first sector you have to let it by default, and the last sector you have to put plus for the first uh, you know uh, for the first disk you have to select we need 56 MB, so we write plus 256 M in capital M. So it will create it a new partition. Now we'll create another partition. uh, Here this is a swap partition. What is swap? Swap is a special memory reserved for special purpose. If your RAM is full, then your RAM store your running process into that swap process. So we need this is total upon you. You can assign 1 GB, 2 GB, 3 GB. I'm going to assign 2 GB here for my swap partition plus 2G. Now we will create a third partition, which is our hard disk basically. So we just our first sector we let it default our last sector, so it will acquire your remaining all the remaining space. Now I assign 24 GB for the whole process, and for my SD3 basically it's for my third partition it will assign 21.7 GB. It's a total remaining size of my partition. Now we have to made change type of our partition. So for the changing of partition you have to type T, then you have to mention a number, because we have three disks, 1 2 3, 1 for bootable, 2 for swap, 3 for simple hard disk. So now we want to make number 2 as our swap partition. It's asking for alias for swap, so we will type 82. It will convert our second partition into swap partition. Now we have to make a bootable device. Now not a bootable device, but a bootable disk, which is where all the bootable configuration will store. For this we have to we have to activate a partition. So we type A, select 1, and okay, it will create a boot partition. Now we write W, so after W it will run all the you will write out all our formatting options. Now you can see we just type we're just looking at our devices, which is SD1 is bootable device, SD2 is a swap device, and SD3 is our simple storing device. Now we are going to encrypt our partition, setup of root password for our that password basically for SD3. I just run a command crypt setup lux format dev SD3. Lux is Linux unified key setup which will encrypt our SD3, and it required a passphrase. So we have to set a password for this. This is encrypted. After this we'll open. We have to run a command for a decryptive. So crypt set looks open will decrypt this device during boot dev SD3, and we will assign a name to SD3 script root. passphrase. It set we encrypt our ST3 and set a decrypt uh, password as well, so it will decrypt during boot. Now we are going to again format our partition just we created. Basically we have to assign some file systems and all the etc things. The very first command is mkfs.ext2/dev.html. ext2 is a very simple and old file system supported by Linux, so it is a very simple and reliable file system, so we are going to use this for our bootable device system. It's created. Now we are going to create a swap partition. So mkswap is create and make our st2 our swap partition. Now swap on, which will definitely own the swap process on sda2. After that we will run mkfs.ptrfs dev mapper crypt root command. So ptrfs is also a file system. It's called pt file system, and so our sda3 utilize ptrfs as a file system. It's some bit latest it's a latest file system as compared to ext2. So now move on to our next step. After this we are going to our mount partitions using mount dev mapper crypt root mnt gentoo. So we mount crypt root to our main point mnt gentoo. So basically it should be crypt root should be open before running this command. Make sure you have run crypt setup looks open command. Now we move to our new folder cd mnt gentoo, which is our mounting point. Now we are going to download stage 3 desktop system md file from gentoo.org, and after downloading this file we are going to extract it in the same folder. Okay, this file we have to download. Okay, so we downloaded this file, our stage 3 file, and now we are going to extract it using tar-xf stage 3 tar-xf and stage 3 emd64 is our file name, so it will extract. And after extracting, okay, now it's successfully extracted. Okay, after this we are going to mount our dev sd1 to our new Gentoo's boot folder. Okay, so we mount dev sd1 into mnt gentoo boot folder. So now it can point out to mnt gentoo boot folder as well. Okay, after this command we are going to run some chroot commands, which is very necessary for basically we are getting our chroot environment where we are going to mount some key folders from our new environment mirrors, like from new environment mirrors of the same from the live cd basically. So we run some mount commands, so which will mount into mnt gentoo and for the required folder. So now we are running creating our chroot environment. So first command is mount -rrbind. Rrbind means copying recursively all the directories, subdirectories, everything. Okay, mount minus rr bind dev, mount our dev folder recursively into mnt gen2 dev folder. Okay, the second command is mount minus hyphen hyphen make r slave mnt gen2. For make r slave here means typically when it ensures that when you mounts anything, it mount inside the ch root environment, so it do not affect the host system. Is the main purpose is that. So we can successfully done mounting on our dev folder. Now we are going to move on further folders, same like mount hyphen r bind system mnt gen2 sys. Same command, just we have to give the correct path. So it is successfully done with system folder as well. Now we are mounting our run folder. After that we will mount our proc file. Proc is a file system which provide information about running processes. So we also mount a proc file after this command. Make sure to, don't have spelling mistakes in command. So now we are running our proc. So sorry, not running, mounting our proc file. After this we are going to copy our DNS configuration to our new environment. Our new environment is mnt/mnt/gen2. This is our new environment. So we are copying our resolve.config file from etc directory to mnt gen2 etc resolve config. Basically we have to make same path in our new environment as well for every configuration file. After that we are going to change our root folder to mnt gen2. Basically now our change root /mnt/gen2. So now mnt/mnt/gen2 is our now root folder. First our root folder for we are booting from live cd. So now we are making our all the configurations in the mnt gen2. Now we are running emerge web rsync command. Basically this command is is to download and synchronize the gen2 portage tree with the latest version available. Basically this is a collection of files and describe gen2 packages and their dependencies. So now at the start I told the it's a portage management file system where you can select uh, your softwares, default software from your own choice. So now we downloaded our image. So one thing is clear, image is equal to install here. Image means install or download these files into our system. So successfully image web rsync file, which is our it is a portage data for our new environment. So after that we have to confirm that which type of we are using right Gentoo profile. So you can see the below star. So our version of we are using 17.1 DexC as system D stable version. Okay, now after this, now we are going to edit our portage config file to set some key values. So nano is a editor. So after nano slash etc slash portage make dot config, we are setting some flags here. Okay, basically slash etc portage make config file comes with our portage data file which we download previously. The make.config file is a configuration file used by the portage package manager. uh, it contains various settings and variables to control how portage builds and install package on the system. So you can edit this file, you can set up your own use flags, C flags, and many other things, which type of software, which type of dependency you want to install during uh, during installations. So we set up some use flag. Okay, so we edit this file, like the first command is use uh, use flag. We set up use flag equal to script setup, and then video cards using from VMware, and this is a something default setup thing we have to do. So we install after saving this, so we are going to run a command. So image update new use pretend verbose world. So basically here, so if you type pretend here, it will just show you which type. Pretend just show us dependencies, all the other things, softwares, and which has to install. Okay, no, we just edited our make.config file for our portage data. So now from this command, it will this one is basically create to update to update all the installed packages on the system to the latest version available in the portage tree. So when we edited our make.config file, so we tell our portage tree, so we need these type of dependencies and softwares. It totally depends on your choice, your system choice, or your organization choice, which type of software dependencies you need. So we just dry run this command, and now we are going to officially run this command. Image update instructs portage to update package all the packages. Slash it is downloading all the dependencies, required dependencies basically. Now after downloading, it downloaded successfully. Now we are going to set our time zone. uh, so we set our time zone with this command. So basically it create a symbolic link between our USR shared time zone, where we have all the time zones information. So now it will get our time zone information from USR share zone info Europe Paris. After the after this we have to choose our right locals. So we will open etc local.gen file. So I'm choosing en us utf-8. Basically it is language region, which type of language you need. Local dash hyphen gen means we are going to regenerate our locals and pick the right ones. So select local list. We list down all the locals. So we will choose. I choose en us dot utf-8. Out of this we are going to update our source file and profile. So the changes we have made. uh, so after this command it will finally take place. Now we are going to install our kernel resources. Okay, for the command for downloading kernel resources, emerge Gentoo resources, which will download latest kernel resources. Basically it will download latest kernel required files for kernel. Now we are going to set up our kernel. Let's see, it's downloading. And okay, so you can see it's downloading Linux 6.117. So we successfully downloaded our kernel resources. Now we are going to select our kernel. So here we downloaded 6.1.19 Gentoo. Okay, so we will select kernel set ID. So we have only one, so its ID is 1. Okay, now we set our kernel to kernel Linux 6.1 1.19 Gentoo. So after this we are going to configure our kernel. So we move into the kernel folder by using cd command. We are into our Linux folder. Oh, sorry, not Linux, kernel folder. So now we are going to make menu config. So now we run make menu config is as a command in Linux. In the Linux to get a menu based text interface. No, it's a very simple graphical user interface where you can configure various options and setting for kernel. So with this interface you can enable or disable various features, device drivers, configuration, hardware, processors, performance and networking options, etc. So you have to select very carefully. No, I have a whole file. So basically, I will you can see how it look like. So in my descriptions section, I will paste uh, all the required configurations or setup which we have to which we are going to choose from here. So I'm going to skip this step so you can see how okay uh, I can give you a little demo about it. Okay, you can navigate from arrow keys like up and down, and if you move from left to right, it is select exit. So and the static means built-in kernel, and M means built as a module file external to the kernel. And you have to you can press space for selecting star or M. Uh, if you can press space, and it will show you the basically you enable disable using space bar. There we have two options only: built into kernel or built as a module file external to kernel. You can use space for this. So I will attach all the required uh, all the required things in my description box uh, with all the directions as well, so you can easily navigate and select the required dependencies or softwares. Now I'm going to skip this part, but you can get all the list of functionalities which we are going to configure in this make config file, make in this menu. So okay, let me skip this. Okay, now we successfully select all the required functionalities, dependencies, and everything we need from this menu config. Now I am going to exit and save this. Now after this we have to compile our kernel modules and deploy them. For this, first command is make. It will take a lot of time. Okay, make command, it will compile our kernel. It will take a lot of time, approximately 20-30 minutes, depend on your maybe more than 20-30 minutes, depend on your CPU power and all the other things. So after this, okay, our make command is complete. Now we are going to make modules. We done make modules. It will compile our modules now. After that, we run command make modules install, which will install all our modules. Okay, the last command is make install. Everything we have done. Now we are going to install into our folder. Now we are going to prepare our init ram fs, which means initial ram file system. We will download emerge gen kernel. General is, is a tool, is tool or package, which basically it's a tool to generate a build, to build a custom kernel for the system, such as so it will configure kernel options, compiling the kernel, creating a bootable image. So after running this one, this command download gen kernel package from the portage tree and install it on the system. It will take some time, and now so we are using gen kernel hyphen looks init ramfs. Basically it create custom init frames that includes support for loops as well. Okay, successfully done. So we are adding our crypttab file. This file is used to configure encrypted devices such as loops, encrypted partition, or swap space. So in this file we are going to add our swap /dev st2 dev urandom swap. So swap means our is the name of our device. Dev st2 is a path. Okay, so after this we are going to edit our fs tab file. Basically in this file we are going to set up the mount point for each partition. So basically in this file we are going to specify how file systems are to be mounted at system startup. So like the first line dev st1 specifies that this device should be mounted at boot level using xt2 file system with default options. So 0 and 2 is the order or specify the file system dump and file system check order. So for the same divide mapper, it will not. So none means here that no mount is used for the swap space. So our third device SDA dev mapper root, basically it should be mounted on the root using btrfs file system with defaults options. So we successfully set up our fs tab. And now we are going to install grub file and install the bootloader and make root partition decrypted at our boot level. So don't be confused with install and emerge. So emerge minus hyphen quite grub. So we are going to install grub. Here is the spelling mistake. fetching the grub files. After its successful installation, we have to edit grub file. Basically, in this grub file we are going to specify the main purpose of editing this grub file is to tell our kernel system that our root so basically this command help our system to detect, and we make the root partition decrypted at boot time. So if our partition is encrypted at boot time, so our system will not work. And with this we are specifying the path of the root system encrypted, and we specify the path of decryptive root. So our kernel successfully root from that decryptive file. Now we are install our bootloader's code into go to the master's boot record. We are generating grub's configuration here. Grub hyphen mkconfig o slash boot slash grub dot cfg. So, in simple words, we generated a new grub bootloader configuration file based on the current system configuration. Okay, after this we are going to install btrfs tool, binary tree file system tool. It will take some time because it had 13 different type of dependencies. Now after that successfully installing btrfs, now we are going to set up a password for our root device, which is a password. So the command is for setting password for root is password root. So this is our login password. And now we're going to set our system host name. You can give it according to you. So after this we have to create our network profiles, so our system can because our system can get access to internet after creating all the configurations. For this we have to create a file in etc system dmd network 50 dscp.network. Okay, the first line is match. It will match our interface card. The network interface card starts from ENP, and it will match any card will start from the ENP. It will use that card, and we are using network DHCP. Yes, we are going to use DHCP. So we will get automatic an IP address, or assign an IP address basically. So after this we are enable network and DNS service at boot time. No, because we set our network configuration file, and now we have to set this uh, when we starting restart our system and it boot, so it will be enabled. So if we enable it, then our internet will work after booting. System city enable system D resolve dot service. And after this, we're going to set up a machine ID, allows DSP to get an IP. System MD machine ID setup. So till now, we successfully completed our main configurations. It's like 70% of work is completed, more than 70% of work is completed. So make sure have a snapshots in VMware, because if you if you've done something wrong during configuration, so you can go to that snapshot and edit that file and again restart. Because if you restart your system, reboot your system, so you cannot change the files, so it will cost you in errors. So snapshot is a really handy tool. Now we are going to reboot our system. First you have to exit from your change root and then reboot. It's booting. Okay. Okay, enter passphrase for device SDA3. So it's not a login password. Okay, it is the password we set during crypt setup loose format during encryption of SDA3 file. So if your system asking you the enter password for SDA3, it means we have done all the things correct till now. Our configuration, file systems, and we install successfully grub, BTRFS systems, yeah, everything. Okay, this is our login screen. You can log in from here. What is your password and anything you have. Basically it's your root login. In login you have to specify login, specify username, root and password. Then okay, you successfully logged in to the system.